Breaking up on Infowars.com, DHS to test face-scanning cameras at Tri-City hockey game. That's up on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Leader of Syrian rebel group calls for attacks inside the U.S. That's, by the way, in Reuters and London Telegraph. But we go forward to point out he just so also happens to be the head of al-Qaeda being armed by NATO out of Jordan on record. That's how dumb they think you are. They launch the attacks. They run al-Qaeda. They are the criminal occupational government that runs this country. And they are a consortium of corporate boards, you really study it, that meet at the North American Union meetings that have been leaked and declassified. And you'll have all these different interests, the leaders of each country, a bunch of corporate heads, and it's like Bilderberg or Davos, and they sit there and decide what they're going to do. The problem is our own military said they won't follow the orders. Even General Dempsey, who I've been critical of, it's been confirmed, told Obama, this is insane. We have intel. The Russians are going to fight us. You ready to start World War III, bud? Because the military all knows they're arming al-Qaeda. They followed those orders. They all know they're murdering the Christians in mass, and 2 million have fled. Look it up. 2 million have fled Syria. That's Associated Press. Mainly Christians, and they're smart. They'll get their heads chopped off. Turkey's trying to not let them get out. Jordan's trying to not let them get out. Israel's trying to not let them get out. I mean, that is vicious. And Christian churches all across this country won't even criticize it, because if Christians need to have their heads cut off by al-Qaeda so we can have the Sunnis and Shiites kill each other, well, that's just the way it is. It is unbelievably immoral. But here's this article out of Live Science. Drivers' identities verified by brainwaves, and auto companies are moving towards a brainwave biometric fingerprint to open and start your car. You think thumbprinting in the new iPhones where they're going to stop? In 2002, at 5 U.S. airports, this was CBS News, they were testing passive MRI brain scanners. Do you have any idea how powerful that is? Passive MRI brain scanners were already in the airports. I mean, that's why the elite are on such power trips. They've already GMO'd all the food to manipulate our genetics on record. They've got to get control of the world. They can't have any country you can run to, Russia, Syria, any of it. Whether those countries are good or bad, because it's world government, folks, and you've got to be inoculated. You've got to be fluoridated. You've got to be soft-killed so you're weak and diseased and poisoned ahead of their master plan. Before I get to the attack on the press, I want to show TV viewers, radio listeners can just go to these headlines. This is from the Daily Mail. It is also in CNET News. That's CBS News puts that out. And it's also in an article we did before all of them back in July on PrisonPlanet.com by Paul Joseph Watson. Professor, Robots to Patrol Cities by 2040. What are these headlines that came out today? Killer robots and crippling cyber attacks, how the world is going to end according to superbrains such as Stephen Hawking, the physicist. An extremely accurate futurist. And then it goes into other top futurists saying the exact same thing. See, we've interviewed them. We've read their white papers. I concur with their analysis. We've probably interviewed, I don't know, let's not exaggerate, 30 or 40 of these futurists, top ones, over the years here on this show. In fact, I interviewed one of the top robotics experts that works with Kurzweil last night on the Nightly News. Roman Yampolsky. Now, we cover this, and what does the White House do to us? White House responded. They're very upset. They've taken out of context what I said, sandwiches together, and again, media matters doesn't matter, except that when they put something out, then Raw Story, Salon, all the other big fascist, I mean, I'm not just saying, they are fascist. I mean, I saw Salon on CNN last night promoting the war and how wonderful it was. I mean, it's just sick. One of their writers. But because they talk with a lisp, it's okay. I don't understand that. It's like, it says, here's Raw Story following the White House directive. Syrian diplomacy, a plot to extinguish humans so Obama and elitists can be cyborgs. And it got picked up, again, by a bunch of other publications. First, it came out from the White House Run, I mean, a notepad's not a big deal either, but it gets picked up. So that's why it's important, is to see the propaganda. Alex Jones links Syrian weapons proposal to human extinction plot. Jones, globalist theory connects weapons inspectors to plans for replacing humans with new species of human-machine hybrids. I was just going off what they openly say. Now I just showed you Stephen Hawking. He gets into all that and then says that will result in a giant robot war and kill everybody. Of course, I was quoting all those guys yesterday, too, in that full breakdown, but they can take that, try to make it sound weird. This is the same government-run media that tells you that the northern and southern ice caps are the smallest ever recorded. Ladies and gentlemen, NASA admits that it is the largest recorded since they had satellites in the 1950s. You can go to the Daily Mail. You can go to NASA. Here it is, right here. It shows the August 2012 ice cap. The August 2013 ice cap this is the earliest closing in a very long time of the Northern Passage, where ships are normally able to go even into October or so through there. By August, it was already frozen shut. We're only the biggest icebreakers who go through the southern areas. Okay, now again, folks, this is how they lie to you, because I played it a few weeks ago. We have the clip. CNN said the ice caps are the smallest ever. The polar bears are all dying. Now, the polar bear numbers are up fivefold. Just look that up. Just type in polar bear numbers explode. It's all on record. They've exploded 5 times in Northern Europe where they checked them. I think they said 4 times in Russia, and they admit in some areas as much as 10 times in North America. They don't have an actual number. They're all over the place. And that's because they restrict hunting of them a lot now, so they're running around like roaches, basically. And I think it's a beautiful, cool animal, but, you know, then now the new thing is, well, some are starving. Well, some have always starved, so the strongest survive. That's how this works. But, see, they don't want us to be able to be on air and point all of this out. They don't want us on air pointing all the things that are being put into place here. They don't want the American people, or the people of the world, to ever get into reality. And by the way, the public's smart. People can learn all about every automobile and be collectors. They can learn out about every conceivable thing that you can imagine. Baseball scores, you name it. But they can't learn about the ice sheets. They can't learn about forms of government because, oh, that's boring. They make it boring. I had the former head of the Department of Education on about this, the head of policy. They were there in the 80s saying, we're here to make this boring. We're here to dumb it down so that people never get the bug of to learn and become creative. And they've done it. They've got a bunch of unimaginative people who don't care about any of this. And so now they're demonizing anybody that points out what's really going on. You know, I say I'm glad that they're going to give up their WMDs so this war doesn't happen. But see, that still is damned if you do, damned if you don't, because it sets the precedent where then the West says you've got to give your weapons up that are legal, and then they can come in and take everybody else's weapons on Earth until only the globalists have the weapons. And then they can come in and take over your country anyways when you don't have the weapons, like Iraq. And that's part of the global government plan, is to bring in the drones and bring in the automation so that then the military can't refuse the orders to attack. And the elite are delusional and believe they're going to merge with machines and live forever. And then I can quote Ray Kurzweil and all of them. And then they come out and say, Alex Jones made this up, not Alex Jones showed you the megalomaniacal power-tripping delusion. You know, I told you they were going to try to bring a fairness doctrine to the internet and that they were going to come in and try to restrict free speech. And I actually have a stack of news on that I haven't even gotten to yet. The announcement has been made that Verizon and others are saying the internet is going to be pay-as-you-go. Well, that's agenda for internet, too, always is to phase out the old web and basically make it a toll road. You already paid for it over and over again with your connection and the rest of it. It's about the power structure, grabbing it and making it a monopoly. That's what they always do. And that's Dianne Feinstein's gotten the bill passed out of the Senate committee to basically start going after and taxing and regulating and not letting you have journalistic sources, getting rid of the First Amendment for people that are not federally certified. And now they're announcing, oh, Federal Consumer Protection Bureau to monitor 80% of all credit card transactions. See, they're mainlining NSA spying. They're already doing that. But they're like, oh, now we're going to monitor all your credit card stuff for your safety. Now it's going to be the government contacting you. Now it's going to be the government contacting you, not the bank, about every time I go out of town. And I bought dinner somewhere or a hotel. All of a sudden, I go to buy and my credit card's turned off. They go, sir, sorry. So I take like 3 so that as the credit cards are turned off, I can go to the next one and then call the bank and give them 18 codes and all the rest of it. And then they're going to say, oh, biometrics is the answer. Oh, brain scanning's the answer to activate your... that's being announced, by the way. They'll probably have another White House written article. Jones claims they'll brain scan you to use your credit card. No, they'll just brain scan you and connect it to your bank account. And then once it's all tied to you, they can totally control everything you do, or you'll be blackballed from not being able to buy or sell. And that's the announcement they're making. Oh, haven't paid the IRS? You can't leave the U.S. They're trying to pass a bill. No judge, no jury. Now they're saying, by the way, we want the bill where you can't travel outside your state. And we're going to have checkpoints like the border to leave your state. And we can always find more guys that, you know, were security at concerts to be cops who will treat you and your family.